Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to F1 Manager 22. We're back with Williams, but we are staying in America because tonight we're heading to Miami for the Miami International Grand Prix. We're on the back of a strong series of results. We are currently sitting in third place in the Constructors' Championship and our drivers are doing pretty well as well. Théo Pourchaire sitting in sixth place right now. It's had a little bit of bad luck in a couple of races, but Pierre Gasly coming on very strong, picking up our first win last time out, and sits just 2 points behind current championship leader Max Verstappen. Pierre may possibly be on for a title fight this season, which would be fantastic if that's the case. So really looking forward to seeing how our season's going to develop. How you doing, Anthony? How you doing, Farah? Good to see you both. Did I have a good weekend? I did, thank you for asking. I platinumed the PS4 version of the game, got that out of the way. It took me a season and a half in total because I was waiting on the pit crew to reach 100. But might have been able to do that a little bit quicker, potentially, if I'd gone with a different team, but I went with Ferrari, so... Right, let's check our performance targets for this weekend. We have to get one driver into Q3 as our incentive. We should hopefully get both drivers into Q3, so we're going to reflect that by going 2 drivers in the top 10. Both drivers are obviously going to reach Q2. The incentive is for the fastest lap. The guarantee is for our finish position, and we're going to guarantee 2 drivers in the top 10. And then we look at our streaks. The incentive streak is to qualify 1 car in 14th for 3 races. We're 1 race down. It's only worth $500,000. It's a small streak and it's an easy target. The incentive, however, 2 cars in the top 10 for 5 races. We've got 2 of those out of the way, and that is worth over $3 million. So we've got to try and keep that going if we can. Just one last look at our car builds, make sure everything is up to scratch. We have 1 spare on our brand new chassis. I'll check to see if we've got another one being made at the moment as well. We do have a new front wing research or design project being done right now, so there's no front wing to change. Rear wing, we have 2 spares, which is good. Side pods, we have 2 spares for the side pods. Underfloor, 2 spares for that. And our Mark III suspension, we need to fit that onto both cars. There we go. And we have 1 spare, so hopefully we don't wreck one today in first or second practice. Let's check our car part development. We are working on a new chassis. Let's go ahead and make another suspension as well. Seeing as we do only have the 3 of those, let's see, just the 1, because I may make another suspension a little bit later in the season, so I don't want to overstock on those, just get what we need. The other chassis, that'll be ready for FP3 and quali, so if we do wreck one of our chassis today, we will still have a spare tomorrow, which is good. How you doing, Hull? Good to see you. So, our cars are good. Let's take a quick look at our car analysis, see where we are on the grid for this race. 9th overall in top speed and acceleration. Our medium and high speed cornering is best in class. Look at that, first in both. Not so great in low speed, so the second half of this lap with the slow twiddly stuff will not be amazingly kind to us, but the first half of the lap will be pretty strong for us. DRS isn't too bad. We're slightly down on acceleration. Medium speed and high speed, dirty air cornering also very strong. We do still need to improve our cooling for both brakes and engines. If we take a look at specific teams against Ferrari, well, they're very strong in a straight line, but again, we have got the edge on them in the cornering. Against McLaren, well, we're walking all over McLaren right now, as most teams are, to be fair. Red Bull are the team to beat at the moment in terms of performance. They have the fastest car in a straight line, and their cornering is very good across the board as well. So they are going to be very tough to beat. Mercedes, their speed is just appalling right now. 19th in top speed. That's really bad. Well, let's just see what that actually entails in terms of speed. The actual difference isn't that bad. So it's pretty close. It's pretty tight. If we just go back to Red Bull are comfortably faster than us, as you can see. There's quite a difference there in speed, nearly 0.6 kilometers an hour. Whereas it's a lot less than that from 9th to 19th. It's 0.2 kilometers, less than 0.2 kilometers per hour. So it looks as though it's a very tight midfield in terms of speed, even to sort of the lower part of the grid as well. But that top performance is definitely a big factor. Looking at Alpine, a little bit faster than us, but barely. And obviously our cornering speed improvements means that we should be much better than them this weekend. Williams is us, obviously. Haas, again, we should beat Haas pretty comfortably, especially in the medium and high speed stuff. They're pretty poor. AlphaTauri should be comfortably ahead of them this weekend. Alfa Romeo, we've been in a bit of a fight with them. Again, looks like we've got the beating of them. We're a little bit faster than them. They've got slightly better acceleration. They're very strong in the low speed cornering. That's something we're going to have to watch out for, but we are much stronger across the board everywhere else. And then finally Aston Martin. Well, they've got a turn of speed, haven't they? Look at that, 5th in top speed. Let's just see. It's not that much. Again, look, it's 0.08 kilometers per hour. It's not that much difference in terms of the actual speed itself, but everything else about their car is not good. So they should not be a threat at all. They should be near the back of the grid. And he says he's just done Singapore in his Aston Championship, started to pick up some points consistently now. Good stuff. Yes, all development now focuses on next year's car. Yeah, you definitely need to target next year's if you haven't already at this late stage of the season.
We're in the state of year-round summer. It's the Miami Grand Prix, and we're here in Florida at the Miami International Autodrome. The streets of Miami Gardens will come alive with the roar of racing, and the excitement is only just beginning. Spectacle is the name of the game here in Miami, with the stadium at the heart of this track. With long straights and S-bends, not unlike Suzuka's Sector 1, proper ERS management is sure to give drivers an edge towards victory. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. So, without further ado, let's get started.
So we arrive at Miami. We've got good looking weather. No rain this weekend, which is unusual for Miami. There's usually some rain somewhere. But clear skies today, clear skies on race day. A little bit of cloud on FP3 and quali. But generally, very, very nice weather indeed. We are going to give Logan a run, as again, it's a home race for Logan, just as it was on our Haas playthrough for Kota on Friday. In terms of car parts, we're going to swap out that brand new engine and put in the weaker one. And we might even run the weaker one for the race as well. I haven't quite decided yet. Let's swap out on second car as well. ERS module is just the basic one, already down to just 45% on this first gearbox. That's not great. And same again over here, 45% on the gearbox, so just 5% away from hitting into the decreased performance range. Not encouraging to see that much wear already. But then we did kind of expect that going into the season. We did know in advance going onto a Williams Renault combination that we would struggle with gearbox wear this year. Right, starting values to match last year. means we want a 6.5 front wing, 13.5 rear, 4.6, 3.45, and a 0. And that is already outside of tolerances for rear wing, so we're going to improve the rear wing to 13. That's now put our toe outside of tolerance, so we're going to increase the toe to 0.25, and we'll run the car like that for the first run. Let's see how that works. The other car, we shall do something similar. Oh wait, I did the wrong car. So let's do that for this car then. So 6.5, 13.5, a 4.6, a 0.3, a 0.45, and a 0, and that one is within tolerances. So we'll try that on Porsche's car, the unadulterated version of that setup. Again, we'll go with a 20 lap run, drop the pace down, and I believe we are ready to go.
How's the radio on track?
So both cars out straight away, as always. We're going to make sure that we tell them to avoid the curbs.
Watch those curbs.
And let's try and get some fast feedback.
I think someone's run wide.
So who watched the Grand Prix this weekend? Bit of a weird one. Some great action all the way through, I have to say. And what a performance by Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel for that point. Vettel did actually get driver of the week of the day, but I feel that should have gone to Alonso. And I do feel a little bit sorry for him that he was later penalised after the race and hit with quite a hefty time penalty. Does that just reduce engine wear and gearbox wear? It only reduces engine...
Find the balance, please.
Well, the slow pace reduces engine wear. Telling them to avoid the curbs helps reduce wear on all powertrain and tyres at a slight cost to lap times. So that means the engine, the ERS and the gearbox. So yeah, it helps reduce wear across all three, as well as the tyres. Right, we have our first bit of feedback in. 69%. Nice. It's the law, you have to say nice. 69% for our setup confidence on car 2. We're going to call Logan in straight away so we can make some changes. Oh, and even worse, 59 for Teo. That's not good. We'll let Teo finish his run because he's still learning the track. Obviously, Logan is not learning the track. He's just running for the XP. We do need to change our braking stability quite significantly, but it's a good at the moment, so that to me suggests we want it about there. We also need to change our roll bar quite heavily. Not quite sure which way to go on that. I'm going to go with a 6.4 on the roll bar. Let's put that back to there. We want minor changes on the front and rear settings, and a slight change to cornering as well. So let's improve the camber. Let's tweak the camber slightly, push that up, pull that in slightly. Actually, I can't go any further that way, can I? Alright, let's reduce the front wing down to a 5.5. That gives us a minor change to oversteer and straights. We need to recorrect the toe. That's a minor change on cornering and a big change on traction. Let's see if we've gone the right way with the roll bar. We'll put on a fresh set of tyres and send them out. Farrow watched the NFL. Boo. Red Bull are ridiculous on the straights. Yeah, they are.
Yellow flag, single yellow, single yellow.
Doesn't help that Mercedes is slow with too much drag. Next year, you reckon Mercedes and Red Bull in a close fight for the title? Well, that depends on what direction Mercedes go in next year. They still haven't decided, or they haven't announced. They probably made their decision, but they haven't announced which concept they're going with for next season, and they're right not to. But you know, they could be continuing with the no side pod concept that they're running, or they could go back to a more traditional side pod in the style of what Red Bull have been doing, perhaps. Which is the direction that quite a lot of teams have gone. Right, Logan is ready to go back out. Merck will lose the drag. They know how to build a car, plus could have 25% more wind tunnel next season. Well, they'll definitely have more wind tunnel time. I don't think it'll be 25% more, but they'll definitely have more wind tunnel time than Red Bull. Everyone will. I mean, they know how to build a car, but they've had a really dominant engine which has been gradually caught over the seasons since it was first introduced. So it's not a question of them not knowing how to build a car, but it's maybe a question of them not knowing how to completely maximize the aero of the car, because they've had such a huge powertrain advantage which has gradually eroded over the years to the point where it's no longer the most powerful engine. It'll be interesting to see how they do recover, and I do expect them to recover, but I don't think it's going to be that simple. Alright, we're going to go to a 13 on the angle for the rear wing. We're going to go again with the 6-4 on the roll bar. Do need a further tweak on cornering. Okay, let's give that a go. Fresh set of boots.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Depends on the penalty that Red Bull gets. Well, it depends if they accept the ABA that the FIA put forward. If they do accept it, then there's no points deduction or testing restrictions available under that punishment scheme. If they fight it and take it to court, it goes to the independent arbitration, the Court of Appeals. Then those then become available onto the table. So like I said, if they accept the ABA, then they can suffer a fine, which ironically would not be part of the next cost cap, because they're considered exempt. Oh, the irony. But yeah, I mean, points deductions and reduction of testing, etc., is only available if it is contested, and it goes to Court of Appeals. Right, Logan's car is up to 72%. It's an improvement, but it's not much of an improvement, which makes me think we've gone the wrong way with the roll bar. Let's find out. We did go the wrong way with the roll bar. I had a feeling we had. So, that to me says that we've gone the wrong way on the other car as well, and we actually need that to be a 2.8. We've got the cornering bang on. We have gone the wrong way with the oversteer, but that change of roll bar should correct that, I hope. We do need to reduce down... Oh, okay, that's a problem. Maybe we have gone the wrong way that way then. Let's go to a 7.5. That gets our cornering back to spot on. It also gives us a minor change to the straights and a minor change to braking. So that actually could be bang on now. We won't find out this session. We haven't got enough time left in the session to complete the run. But we will send Sergeant out for the last 5-6 minutes just to get a head start on Gasly getting feedback. Now we just need to see how Porsche is getting on.
How was the balance?
75% with Porsche's car again. We know we've gone the wrong way with the roll bar, so we'll correct that when he finishes his run. Make a couple of other minor little tweaks that will be needed after the big correction of the roll bar, and then hopefully that'll dial in his car for the next session as well. Yeah, I have zero knowledge or interest of American football. You know, it's just not for me.
Fais les tifos, please. Fais les tifos.
Okay, first session is done. We got a little bit of extra feedback from Logan's car. Let's go ahead and make the change to Teo's car. Everything's looking pretty good apart from the roll bar, so let's go ahead and put that onto a 2.8. We need to tweak the front wing. We'll go to a 7.5. Actually, we'll go to a 7. No, let's go to an 8. There we go. That gets the cornering bang on. A slight change on the front wing, slight change on braking, slight change on straights, and obviously we've got the big change just there. What if I maybe go that side? Pull the camber in slightly. I'm going to go that side. I just get the feeling that might be the way to go. Go with 20 laps, and we'll go with a set of mediums. Change the driving option. Pierre's back in the car now, so we want a good long run for him. We're going to go with 38 laps. Drop down the fuel, the pace. So we're going to drop that down a little bit as well. Drop that down to 18 laps. And we are good to go. Essentially, let's just see what partial feedback we did actually get. Oh, we're only good on the roll bar. God, is it really going to be a 1.9? Can't be a 1.9 surely. It's got to be a 3.7. Does mean I am going to have to make some minor adjustments elsewhere. Just do that. I'm curious about this now. Yeah, I'm going to go 3.7 on this car as well. If it's not 2.8 on that car, I don't think it'll be 2.8 on this one either. Make that minor tweak. Pull the cornering back in. Still okay with everything else. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll try 3.7. This is where it's going to turn out to be a 1.9 now. Right, so let's send the cars back out.
Okay, radio check.
£5 Merc will win both titles next season. What, you'll give me a fiver if they do, or a fiver if they don't?
Watch those curbs.
You're generous if they do. You're generous, but you're playing on the side of caution. Because they're not going to win both titles next year. I mean, they might have a chance at the... they might have a chance at one of them, but I just think they're going to put everything behind Verstappen like they always do. And, you know, he's probably going to win another driver's title next year. Mercedes might have the better combination when it comes to the constructors with Russell and Hamilton, especially a remotivated Hamilton. You can see he's definitely been getting his mojo back in the second half of this season. He drove really well yesterday. I think they've got a better combination of drivers than Red Bull have, because Sergio just can't live with a car that's been developed towards Max. Verstappen's had the season of his life, and it won't last. Well, yeah, people said that a little bit about all the greats. I mean, Schumacher won 5 titles on the bounce. Hamilton won, was it 4 on the bounce? No, it was 3 on the bounce, wasn't it? He won... No, he did win 4 on the bounce. Vettel won 4 on the bounce. You know, Vettel was mighty in 2011. And then Alonso ran him right to the ragged edge in 2012 in a car that had no business being where it was. That Ferrari was awful that year. But, you know, stranger things happen. You think Merck and Ferrari won't let Red Bull get too far ahead, more competitive now, and the cost cap has helped? Well, Ferrari are never going to get anywhere if they don't stop being Ferrari. You know, if they don't stop making bad strategy calls and obvious procedural errors. I mean, in terms of reliability, that will improve in terms of the power units. Development in terms of performance is locked in now, so the engines cannot be improved upon in terms of performance, but they can be improved in terms of reliability. So having a fast but fragile engine this season means that it'll be fast and more reliable going forward.
How was the balance?
Which arguably is better than having a reliable but slow engine, because you can make it even more reliable but you can't make it faster. Okay, 87% for Teo, so we did improve. I'm starting to think maybe now that it should have been a 1.9 on the roll bar, after all. Let's see what happens with Gasly. Because everything else looked to be in the right ballpark, so only thing I can think of is that the roll bar is way off again. And again, 87 with Gasly's car as well, so it does look as though that's what's holding us back, is the roll bar again.
Okay.
Everything else is probably exactly where it needs to be. Okay, well, we can change Teo on the end of this run here and confirm that, but Gasly needs to run the whole session on this single run, so we can't make any changes to him until the end of the end of practice 2. You agree with Ferrari in terms of pit lane strategy. They suffer under pressure. Merc are bulletproof. They will drop the drag much faster. I think the engines are pretty similar. Yeah, all the engines are within a few horsepower of each other. There's very little difference in terms of engine performance. Merc aren't bulletproof on strategy. They do make mistakes every now and again, but they're the mark of a top team. They don't make them very often. It's the mark of a top driver, not making mistakes very often. I mean, how often do we see Lewis make a really big driver error, or Max for that matter? You know, that's the mark of a really good driver, is the ability to control those mistakes. Same with teams. Right, that should... The toe's either there or there. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to go there. That should be 100% if the toe's in the right position. But yeah, Ferrari, they've... I mean, you look back to when Vettel was looking... but very fast at Ferrari, and they threw away back when they had a dodgy engine, but they threw away the chance of Vettel winning a world championship. And then the season when they had Charles alongside Vettel, again they made some really bad calls and bad strategy decisions. They didn't get their drivers to cooperate with each other where they needed to, and lots of silly mistakes from both the drivers and the team, cost them the chance of another championship there. You look at them this season, there's been some unnecessary errors from the drivers. There have been a lot of unnecessary errors from the team, and they've had poor reliability, and they threw away a big early points lead to a massive points deficit by where we are now.
Someone's run wide.
It was, unfortunately, it was kind of inevitable. Ferrari just haven't shown any kind of consistency over the last decade, really, with strategy calls. Whereas Red Bull and Mercedes are much more on it.
Any comments on balance?
The toe was in the other place, but there we go, 99%. So it should have been a 1.9 toe. Sorry, a 1.9 roll bar. We'll make that change on Gaz's car for the next session, and that should get him up there as well. They're inexperienced in winning. Yes, they are. Something always happens to Ferraris. Yeah. And it's almost always their own doing.
Alright, buddy, good job once again. See you in the office shortly.
I mean, there's no denying the pace that Ferrari have. I mean, you've only got to look at, you know, how many pole positions they've won this season. Was it 11 pole positions for Charles Leclerc this year? And 2 wins?
Here we are, back for another day of Formula One action, where practice wraps up and qualifying unfolds. Time and time again, we see just how little separates the drivers as they complete their qualifying laps. Those who have pushed that little bit harder during qualifying can be rewarded with a grid place that sets them apart from their competitors going into the race. Stay with us as we see who can deliver on motorsport's biggest stage.
So let's take a look at that little toe tweak that we need over here. There we go. The run plan, we're going to go again with 18 laps and drop the pace down. Going to go with a set of hard tyres. Actually, what's his track knowledge at? 83. Let's put a bit more fuel in. Let's go with 22 laps. And now for Pierre. We know the roll bar's wrong. Everything else is good. Just need to make sure that everything else gets back to where it should be. Gonna go there on the toe, so that should be 100% for Pierre, and if it's not, we can always tweak the toe back in one, but I think that should be it. We're going to put him on hards, and again we're going to run him for most of the session. Go.
The radio is good?
No reason either why McLaren and Alpine can't join the party at the front. Well,
radio check. Okay.
Maybe even Aston Martin.
Okay.
I mean, they've slowly been moving up the order in the last couple of races. You know, they're getting Alonso, who will be able to get more out of that car than anyone else can. Because he's just that kind of driver that when he's on it, he can pull performance out of thin air. I refer you back to the early discussion of the 2012 Ferrari. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do next season as well. It could be very interesting. Williams have kind of been moving up a little bit as well. It's going to be a very, very tight midfield, I think, next year. McLaren will want to kick on.
Watch those curbs.
I think a big part of how well they kick on could be down to how well Piastri settles in. If he settles in quickly and is on the pace, you know, early on, and doesn't take a good half a season or so to get comfortable with the car, then yeah, McLaren could be an improving force next season. I can see Alfa Romeo dropping down the order a little bit more. They just don't have the budget. But it also depends how, because their car really hasn't developed that much throughout the season, which is why they've kind of stalled. I think the last time Bottas got points was Canada. So it's been a bit of a barren spell for Alfa. I can see them having that being one of two reasons. One, they haven't put any development or much development into this year's car to try and maximise on developing next year's car. Or they just don't have the budget to do... Oh, got a Ferrari the wrong way around there. Or they just don't have the budget to do what they need to do. In which case they will start to drop down the order again next season. AlphaTauri have been disappointing this season as well. And I can't help but wonder if AlphaTauri as a team, their days are numbered. Now that Dietrich Mateschitz has passed away. Because he was the driving force of getting Red Bull into Formula One. First as a sponsor, then buying out Minardi and turning them into Toro Rosso, and buying Jaguar and turning them into Red Bull Racing, and then obviously buying the A1 ring and turning that into the Red Bull ring in Austria.
What was the balance, please?
Everyone's been assuming that Sauber's the team that's going to get bought by Audi, but it could end up being AlphaTauri. You just said exactly the same thing there, Anthony. Yeah, it could be Audi that buys AlphaTauri instead of Alfa Romeo, which may actually open the door for Andretti to buy Sauber in 2024. It'd be interesting to see if that is what shakes out. I'd like to see Andretti make their way into Formula One. I really would. I think it'd be good for the sport to have the heritage of the Andretti name, back in Formula One again. So we went 99%, so we just need to tweak the toe that little bit, and 100% on Porsche's car. So we're looking pretty strong. We're looking pretty comfortable. Just need to get the practice finished now, and then we can head into quali. I still need to decide whether or not to swap the engine or not. Taking a look at that, we are going to struggle with our lack of speed compared to the very top teams, Ferrari and Red Bull. We are going to struggle from Sector 2, the end of Sector 2, all the way through to the start of the lap. We're going to that slow stuff around the freeway overpass with the long straight affecting our top speed, and then another slow corner, and then another very fast section, both with DRS as well. That could be painful for us, so I might stick with the newer engine for the race. What do I think Porsche will do? I think they'll come in maybe as a rebadged Audi engine, potentially. And I think that's it for them. I can't see them coming in now. I mean, the whole point of the whole plan for them coming in was that they would buy a stake of Red Bull, because they don't have their own powertrain facilities set up for Formula 1, whereas Audi do. And obviously Porsche were going to use the Red Bull powertrains department at Milton Keynes, and obviously that deal didn't go through. So it's unlikely that we'll see Porsche in anything other than either as a sponsor or a rebadged Audi engine. Okay, let's call in Gasly. We actually went slightly too far with the toe, so we just need to make that little tweak. We're not going to send them out because we know that that's going to fix the issue, but that is the tweak we need to get them to 100%. You'd like to see 24 cars on the grid. It's not going to happen. For some reason, Formula 1, Liberty Media's, and the way it's set up at the moment with the current franchise system, they don't want more than 10 teams.
We'll get some comments when
partly,
you're
I think, because of what happened with the instability of the new teams that joined in the 2010s. You had Manor, which became Virgin, I think. Or was it Virgin that became Manor? You had HRT, Hispania, and Caterham, which was Lotus and then became Caterham. Or the other way around, I think it was, I can see big problems coming in for a new team. I mean, in theory, new teams coming in with the new regs, it should be easier. But again, potentially, does that rule out some of the current racetracks? Do they have the garage facilities set for 12 teams? And do they have enough space in the pit lane for that? There are some very tight pit lanes. How you doing, Matthew? So I can understand why they don't want to, go above 10 teams. It's a bit of a shame. I wouldn't mind seeing an 11th team on the grid. Obviously, it upsets the power balance a little bit, and it certainly upsets the pay balance in terms of splitting out prize fund money. Which is why a lot of the teams are opposed to another team joining. So we basically have to wait for one of the existing teams to either drop out or be bought out. Okay, we are ready. Let's go quali.
ready to check.
So if we don't have the pace to get through this first session with a single run, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. And also a little embarrassed. But yeah, we're going to wait till the end of the session and send our guys out at the end. What I'll probably do though is make sure that they go out ahead of the queue, so that they can get a clean run in without the risk of a yellow flag ruining their run. Unless, of course, one of them spins off and ruins the other one, which I hope is not going to be the case. Okay, there we go. Guys are out. Here comes the rest of the field. I'm a little worried we might catch the back end of the traffic. Luckily, the back end of the traffic all does appear to be relatively fast. We should be okay. Gasly going purple in the first sector, that's an encouraging sign. This is the area of the track where we struggle.
We'll get some comments when you're plugged back in.
Okay, Porsche goes 8th. Gasly sticks it on provisional pole. See if anyone improves. Norris is really high up the grid, look. In 9th. Where's that performance come from? Oh, Vettel's out. Did not expect that. So, usual suspects at the back. Mick, Zhou, Tsunoda, Stroll. Did not expect Vettel to be there. I thought that would be either Albon or Ricciardo. Yeah, did not expect to see that at all. Didn't expect to see Norris out-qualify Porsche either. It is just the first session though. It is pretty close as well. I mean, if you look from Lando going down to Teo to George Russell, look how little in that. Just 0.03 of a second between all three drivers. Just 0.02 between Russell and Porsche there. So it could be this could be a very interesting session. We might not squeeze through with Teo here. I hope that's not going to be the case. We're going to do a double run. And we'll see how we do.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check, okay.
Gasly, I probably just won't do a second run. I might just leave Gasly as is. I'm thinking already ahead to having to use with a second set of tyres for Porsche. I'm thinking I'll probably go medium, medium, soft with him, and then medium, soft, maybe with Gasly, if the tyres will allow me to go that far. It's normally medium, hard, medium, I think, on this track, so I might go medium, hard, medium on Porsche and medium, hard, soft with Gasly. I might even start him on softs if he's on pole. Try and get him to break away and control the race from the front. Alright, let's see how we do. Ah, Porsche getting held up. Gasly getting held up a little bit as well. Bottas has provisional pole right now. So, it's possible I may have to run both drivers again. Let's set them up just in case. I'm definitely going to have to run Teo again. But can Gasly squeeze through? I'm going to have to run both of them again. I just don't trust that Gasly is going to be safe in 7th. I think there's a lot more pace out there. Looking how close he is to Norris as well. Again, just 2,000ths in it. See if maybe Porsche can get a little bit of a tow from Gasly. Looks like Alonso is providing a tow for Bottas. And they're very strong in the low speed stuff, especially in the dirty air low speed stuff, so that won't hurt Bottas that much. Probably going to help him more than anything else. Gasly goes purple in sector 1. Porsche is currently sitting out. Gasly's on the bubble. Magnussen doesn't improve. Ricciardo doesn't improve enough. Ocon can't improve. So we would have got Gasly through, but if Porsche improves enough, he would actually knock Gasly out. So we did make the right call in sending Porsche and Gasly both out. Gasly goes pole again. Porsche just misses out. Okay, so the twiddly section is really hurting us, and we have failed to get both into the top 10. That's going to hurt us with the sponsors. That's going to keep the quali streak going, but we have failed with our quali position. We did guarantee 2 in the top 10, and that has failed. So we're going to lose $66,000 from our sponsorship payout. It's a bit of a shame. But we do stand to gain quite a lot if we can keep everything else going. You don't understand how Teo is out. Well, Teo doesn't have the greatest pace in some of the twiddly stuff, and we're not the strongest in slow cornering. So, yeah, I always knew that would be tricky. Getting through the slow stuff, getting the power down quickly. Teo's reactions aren't the greatest. That's what we've been boosting. And that's what enables you to really get on the power quickly coming out of corners. That is one of Teo's biggest weaknesses at the moment. That's what we're putting all of our development points for him into. So going through really slow twiddly stuff with low reaction speed, going back into more low twiddly stuff, it kind of makes sense. But you don't understand how Teo's out when Gasly's through. It's just a difference in the ability of the drivers. Gasly can get more out of the car than Teo can at this point in Teo's career. Alpha's setting themselves up for a train again. Look. Bottas a little bit further back from Alonso this time. So from where Leclerc and Verstappen are, this whole section is low speed stuff, which our car is not good at. Got to have good reactions to get out of the corner and get on the power quickly down this long DRS straight. The slower you are accelerating on there, the more time you lose by the time you get to the end of the straight. And then another slow speed, and then another DRS sweeper. You know, low reactions will make you suffer through all of those sections. I mean, it's no secret Gasly is ahead of everybody in Sector 1 because it's medium and high speed cornering, and our car is phenomenal at medium and high speed cornering, but it's not great at the low speed stuff. And we don't have the greatest top line speed. And those long flat out sections work against us by the time we reach the end of them. But we've got a real chance of getting another pole position here. We're going to be the last car on track. Two Red Bulls going out very close to each other. So let's ride on board with Gasly as he tries to secure himself pole position. Once again goes purple in the first sector. He's been mighty there all weekend. This is where we start to suffer. And this is where I wish we would get sector times that showed you the split against the current current pole position time. Like up or down by however much. All we know is that he's improving on his previous run, which he should do. He's on brand new tyres. Takes the car to the line, and it is pole position by 1.6 tenths of a second. Good job, Pierre. So we've got a bit of work to do with Teo to get him up through the order. Are there any penalties? No penalties.
It's time for the final touches here on the grid ahead of today's race.
Seeing how they did in qualifying, Williams are going to be the team to watch here. They'll be starting strong at the top of the grid and will have many opportunities to steer the race in their favour. We saw a reasonably good qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they certainly have a good chance to capitalise during the race. And the sky is looking grey and cloudy today. An effective tyre strategy could prove very valuable as the race plays out.
The Autodrome is ready for some serious action today here at the Miami Grand Prix.
So, there's our compound performance on the tyres. Hard tyres, very, very durable. Soft tyres, not so much. They are going to drop off quite quickly. We do need to be wary of that. Let's take a quick look at the powertrain usage. Ricardo is on his second ERS unit and his second gearbox. Everyone else, apart from the odd driver here and there, Max on his second gearbox, is on their initial components. You can see Gasly and Porsche on their second engines. They're the only drivers on the grid to be on their second engines, which is why we are having the ability to take pole position at this circuit. But it is a little bit of a worry that Porsche was that far off. Given that we're starting 11th, I might possibly try and go for the one stop. The other alternative is that we go with a two-stop strategy as a backup. Let's start on the two stop, but we'll be prepared to switch him to the one stop depending on if we get an early safety car. We've got to be a bit more aggressive off the line with Pierre, because we want to try and break away quickly and not be caught in an ever-changing DRS train. So I'm thinking this strategy here. I'm thinking that we start on the mediums, we push hard for a couple of laps, and then we switch to softs for the glory run at the end. Try and minimise the time on the hard tyres. I mean, if I go mediums, yeah, again, we know the delta's broken, but it's not 3 seconds difference. If I go... We're going to lose a lot of performance towards the end of each stint. Okay, we'll go with a stint like that, and if we get an early safety car, we can look at maybe changing the middle stint to a second set of mediums. But that's our planned strategy there for Pierre. Try and get him a little bit more aggressive off the line. Teo, we're going to be a little bit more cautious. I want a little bit of extra fuel in Gasly's car because he's not going to have DRS to help keep him up front. And we're going to sprint him for the first couple of laps. Teo is going to sit back and see how things shake out. Try and make some strategic overtakes here and there.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like a cloudy day. There we have Pierre Gasly. They're starting today at the head of the pack, but will they be able to stay there? And looking at the second Williams car, they're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. And we're just moments away now. One of the newest races in F1, and hopefully one of the most exciting too. It's the Miami Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Okay, Gasly's going to try and sprint like crazy. We need to try and break that 1 second gap on the opening lap if we can.
Awesome, keep it up.
We're going to trust that he can do that. That's why we're not paying any real attention to him at the moment. We're going to focus on Porsche and look for some opportunistic overtake opportunities. See what tyres everyone else is on. So nobody on softs, it's all mediums and hards. Russell mediums in front of us, everyone else in front of him is on hards, and then mediums apart from Leclerc behind Gasly. So it might be a bit tougher to break away, but we have got that gap up to 1.5 seconds already. That's good. We need that to keep going. I want to run him on sprint for 2 laps. Before I slow him down again. Porsche, we need to make sure he hangs onto the back of Russell. Just put him a little bit of deploy through here. I mean, there is no real ERS use through here, but when he comes out of this section, I want him to be able to get on the power quick and early. So that we don't lose touch through the area where we're slow.
Overtake available.
See if we can maybe get a launch out of this hairpin here. No. See, this is where we're going to struggle all race with Teo. He hasn't got the reactions. The car does not like that section of the track. It's going to be very tough to actually gain any places on cars that have DRS as well. This corner will be a little bit easier, but
need to drop the pace.
Should keep his fuel push going. Gap's almost 4 seconds already. That's fantastic.
Keep going with the lift up. They're doing very good job. Keep going.
Great
with the
job
lift
from
up.
Pierre there. Russell all over the back of Norris right now. That's going to make it very difficult for us to actually try and affect a move on Russell. But we're going to have a go, hopefully, maybe. Up the inside. Can we get both of them? No, we can't get either of them. Alright, so I'm just going to bide our time for, I think, for another couple of laps. We've broken away from Ocon. So we've got no real threat from behind right now. But I think if we're going to get any real successful overtakes with Porsche, it's probably going to come on that first long DRS straight going into the 20 section in Sector 2. No, through Sector 2, at the end of Sector 2, and this straight here. I think those are going to be our best opportunities to get overtakes done. And the reason I think the long DRS straight, partly because it is a long DRS straight, and partly because we're going to have good pace through this section here to launch into this section, this long DRS section. We do have a grip deficit at the moment because of the hard tyres, but that will come to us as the race progresses. I'm going to spend a little bit of fuel.
No lift and coast required.
Just make sure that we do stay in range through here.
And recharge on, recharge on.
Gasly doing absolutely everything he needs to right now. 4.5 second lead. And he's actually pulling away from sight still. But it's going to be a rough few laps for Teo. Got to try and charge him up without losing touch to the cars in front, which is not going to be easy.
And recharge off. Okay, recharge on. Let's go recharge off. Alright mate, recharge on.
Just got to pick our moments now as to when we can turn on the harvesting option. Oh, the whole field condensing here.
So we will go recharge off.
And we're just going to drop out. Hopefully we can gain that back through side-by-side squabbling going into the next braking area. No, we can't. Okay, so this is going to be a very tough race for Teo. Do I stick him with this strategy? Gasly's burning his tyres a little bit faster than I'd like, but that's because he's on a high fuel push. I think Teo's going to have to stick on the two-stop. I think his lack of grip, combined with his low reactions, is going to kill him on a one-stop. Push the tyres a little bit to try and gain back through here.
Okay, push, let's go.
Keep up the lift off. You're doing a very good job.
We'll do another fuel push with Gasly a little bit later on.
Charge on for now.
In fact, actually, I'll try and charge him up while he's got the
Okay.
fuel to do so.
Let's lift off, please.
Yeah.